Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I am casting Game 3 between Evil Genius's EGIdrA and oGsSuperNova. This is from the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. It is Game 3 of a best of 3, so if you haven't watched the other two games, you will know that it's 1-1, but go and watch them anyway because they were great games. And the map is going to be Antigua Shipyard for this final game. It is the tournament version of a map, so a supply depot here preventing any wall off fun, and we do have EGIdrA in the top position and oGsSuperNova in the bottom position. So again, this map has rotational symmetry, so they could be spawning at any of these positions, purely because there is no such thing as a close spawn here, so that's absolutely fine. Supernova just going for a supply depot out kind of early. Good timing, not going for anything super risky like putting it down on the low ground, just going for very straight up wall off, and I mean that's a good move, especially when it's the third game of a best of 3. You don't want to do anything too risky, just because if you lose to that then it can be very annoying, especially when it's gone the way it has so far in this series. So meanwhile though, we will see the barracks coming out, so as I say, you don't want to do anything too risky. Here goes Supernova putting our barracks way out of position, trying to hide it from any potential scout, but I mean it would still see it, I believe. Even if the drone came right around here, I think that barrack could still get scouted, so be interesting to see what does happen. EGIdrA at 15 now, so we'll be seeing if he goes for that hatch first build, taking a drone out ready. So there we go, gonna be a hatch first from EGIdrA as expected. It is the standard ZVT opening. Meanwhile, this first barracks is down, and we are actually getting a second barracks, so this is going to be a 2-racks opening by Supernova here. And EGIdrA still hasn't started his pool. It is at 16, so at 17 now as well. This is going to be a very late pool by EGIdrA. He's going for a max economy, and this is a real interesting different style of playing the third game of a best of 3. EGIdrA going for that super economy. Meanwhile, Supernova instead going for that super early aggression. And that drone scout does, I believe, scout the barracks. Gonna have to check that. I mean, yep, he has seen it, but he doesn't know about this one up here, and he's not actually going to see it there either. So EGIdrA knows there is one barracks, knows it is out of position, and there's nothing else. But I mean, he scouted that, and he might be suspicious, but still, this could do a lot of damage. That spawning pool is only 3/4 of the way done. The first Marines are going out. The drone is running back, and there is the bunker as well. The bunker is going to get denied by mass drones. EGIdRA's realising what's going on now. It is a bunker rush. That Overlord on the high ground giving away exactly all of the information that EGIdRA needs in order to do this opening. But Supernova is just still going to do it. He's just going to say, kill one bunker, I'm going to build you another one. And there is a Marine here now, but it is going to get focused down by those drones. The second SCV has been pulled because obviously Supernova has committed to this. And I mean, this bunker may actually get up now, but the Zerglings are coming out. There's 6 on the way, as well as the 6 already on the field. And I mean, there are a couple more Marines coming in, but this isn't looking good. 2 more Marines are coming in, so that will take it to 5, but there's quite a lot of Zerglings. Great stuff, step micro by Supernova, preventing this round, cancelling the bunker, because it is going to get denied, obviously, by this many Zerglings. And I mean, Supernova is just still committing to this. He knows he can't get those Marines back, so might as well try and do some damage, but EGIdRA's bringing the reinforcements, will get this round. But, I mean, that did not do the amount of damage Supernova needed it to, but behind this, he's just started building his command center, but had to pull that SCV because he needs to get that bunker up if he's going to defend any kind of retaliation pressure by EGIdRA, which he is coming in with. And just picking off a couple of Marines, and there's nothing wrong with that, no need to be greedy. Every single Marine you take out early on is going to be quite a big loss. It means it's a less defended position, but SCVs and Marines here now. EGIdRA won't be wanting to go for that. He wants to keep his ling number high in order to deal damage later and be safe from anything which may be coming up. And EGIdRA's just built a spine crawler. He's just, again, doing this gasless opening, which I personally really like from Zerg players. I think is very effective. You can defend most things as Zerg without getting gas early, and by delaying the gas you can just get so many drones out, and you can get that super economy going really fast and just get a lot of gas very quickly later on. And EGIdRA choosing to get this macro hatch before the third, and again with the risk of Hellions, it's probably the right thing to do, but no Hellions are actually going to be going out, so he could have got away with getting that third base out earlier, but obviously SuperNova only got his natural 3/4 of the way done at the moment. These Zerglings are picking off the rocks. Now this may seem very early, but it's all in preparation for the later stage of the game. If these rocks do go down, he's got an entrance to that third base, which makes the third base a lot harder for SuperNova to hold. Now, if we take a look down at the add-ons going on, we have got a tech lab at one barracks and a tech lab at the other, so we're going to see probably Combat Shield and Stim come down simultaneously unless he switches over for a factory, but I don't think we will see that. And there we go, there's the Stim and Combat Shield coming down at the same time. This macro hatch for EGIdrA going to come out soon. And if we look at the supply difference, I mean EGIdrA is already just under 20 supply ahead, and that's quite significant at this very, very early stage of the game. EGIdrA getting down an evolution chamber, so again, similar to game 2, he's going to be going for that quite mass upgraded style. The rocks are now down as well, so he can just poke in, see what is happening. He's got an overlord position brilliantly to kind of get a good look at all of oGs's side of his base, see if there's any kind of more stuff coming down here, but I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary. I mean, SuperNova did go for that somewhat risky opening of a 2-racks. It is kind of a lot of pressure early on, and EGIdrA dealt with it amazingly. Getting his Baneling Nest down now somewhere. There we go, so the Baneling Nest is coming down. That evolution chamber is getting +1 ground carapace out. Speed is about half done, but still EGIdrA just droning because he knows he's safe. He knows SuperNova invested a lot very early on in the 2-racks play, and he can just get the drones. And having said that though, SuperNova doing a great job of catching up in supply. I mean, only 5 supply behind now, and only a couple of moments ago he was 20 supply behind. And generally in games you tend to see that if someone gets behind early on, they stay behind, and it gets exponentially worse, especially when the Zerg player is just droning. But EGIdrA now just switching to lots of lings. He's getting an awful lot out, and getting his second evolution chamber, getting his lair out. We may actually see a Baneling bust going on here. These things are positioned up now. The expansion isn't on the way at all for SuperNova, so he's not planning on getting that third base up anytime soon. He is just focusing on getting that factory down, getting the engineering bay, and some units will come up here, will pick off a couple of lings, and that should deny any sort of pressure from EGIdrA anytime soon, because he has lost a bit of his army. 7 Banelings on the way though, up in his main base, so he is prepared for this Marine Marauder push. There's no medevacs, but Stim and Combat Shield have been done, and this could be effective. There's only 2 spines, but a lot of Banelings there and a lot of Zerglings. But +1 ground carapace isn't yet done. +1 infantry weapons on its way for SuperNova. Doing a great scan, will pick off the creep tumors, and that's very, very effective. It prevents EGIdrA getting a good scout or getting a good surround. A great Stim backwards, but the lings will get a surround on there, and the Banelings running straight past. Great control. See, the Banelings are quite a few. Do go off in Marauders there, which is not what you want to be happening. Marauders can eat a lot of Baneling hits without dying. So, I mean, oGs SuperNova does actually manage to get out there without losing too much. It's pretty even on the loss tab there, so I'd say that wasn't a bad engagement at all by SuperNova, and it meant EGIdrA did have to pump quite a few units as opposed to drones. EGIdrA now dropping his third base though, so with that macro hatch we'll be able to get that saturated exceptionally quickly. +1 melee attack on the way, +1 ground carapace is finished. Burrow on the way as well as an infestation pit for EGIdrA. Meanwhile, siege mode on its way for SuperNova. That +1 infantry attack is about half done. He's got the starport out, he's getting the medevacs, he's getting the missile turrets, but he doesn't actually have a need for a missile turret. There is no spire out for EGIdrA yet at all. He is getting spore crawlers just to deal with any potential drops. And I mean, this SCV coming out of position, not quite sure what that's going to be doing, maybe just scouting around, but I mean, we may see some drops going down somewhere soon. Will be interesting to see. I mean, SuperNova has favoured a drop heavy style in the game 1 and 2, and kind of harassment, using those medevacs to take advantage of the high ground and low ground, but again, he invested a lot in his opening, so he's going to be quite delayed in everything else, and still absolutely no sign of this expansion being taken anytime soon. He has got a third command center on the way, but it is only half the way done. EGIdRA's base is up and running. He really is in a very dominant position here. Although the supply count is pretty similar, obviously that third base will play in a lot, as will the macro hatch. The tank's being forced to siege up because of a great kind of ling run by trying to get that flanking position. But SuperNova just moving forward, and if he does get this center ground position, it would be a great move for him, because it will prevent EGIdrA moving forward. And actually, EGIdrA was momentarily behind in supply. Pathogen glands will finish up soon. 7 infestors are on the way. And I mean, once infestors come out, infestors with vulnerable growth obviously do incredibly well against clumped up marines. And 2-2 also on the way for EGIdrA as well, to the 1-0, although +1 infantry armor is coming out for oGsSuperNova. And still, EGIdrA just kiting those tanks, forcing them to siege up, threatening with the ling around, and it's just delaying SuperNova's push, and that's exactly what EGIdrA needs to do. He needs more units out. Those infestors are going to make a huge amount of difference. They have just popped. I mean, if those marines are clumped up like they are now, they will almost all be caught by a single fungal growth. And I mean, fungal growth is insanely good against balled up marines. And if we just take a look at SuperNova's base, you will see that the armory is coming down here. So vehicle weapon upgrades will probably be coming out soon, obviously needed to counteract those armor upgrades of EGIdRA's Zerglings and Banelings. +2 armor though is now finished for the Zerglings, as well as +2 attack halfway done. Hive is on its way out for EGIdRA, so is the Spire, so we're going to see Broodlords again most probably. This hatchery can't actually land, because you will see there is a burrowed Zergling down here, and a ling run by. All does go up in time, and that's absolutely great watching by SuperNova there, so he knows, get that wall up, and he's easily able to defend that. And I mean, he's got this centre ground position now, and that is absolutely brilliant for the Terran player, putting down these bunkers. And I like this use of bunker by SuperNova. He's getting bunkers down at defensive positions. He did it in game 1 on that low ground, just so the marines could hold it very easily while the tanks splashed up onto the natural of EGIdRA. He did it in game 2 on that shelf on Shakura's plateau, and now doing it in game 3 at Antigua, just doing it to basically hold that centre ground position. And SuperNova long range mining has got his third up, and there's a lot of lings looking in quite a scary position, splitting them up, and that's really good. A dual prong attack here could do a lot of damage. Most of SuperNova's army is back, but EGIdRA deciding instead just to go straight for the front of the base. The supply depots don't get up. SuperNova is going to have to pull back all of his units to deal with this, but a lot of damage being done by EGIdRA here, just running those Zerglings through, picking off all the marines. More marines are coming in to reinforce. +2 attack for those Zerglings will finish momentarily. And I mean, once that's down, they will become very strong, purely because of the armor and weapon upgrade advantage they do have. And I mean, just a couple of SCVs being picked off, but most importantly, it's allowed EGIdRA to come and take this centre ground position back, and it really forced that really good sieged up middle ground to be lost by SuperNova, and that will give EGIdRA the space he needs in order to push forward. Now just kind of moving in with those infestors, going to take out that bunker. And I mean, again, this is really switching it. SuperNova did have that very strong front position, but is now having to be forced right back just to outside his third base. And all while he's here, EGIdRA can just expand now. He can get more bases up, he can get his macro going well, he can really take the dominant position, and even taking this fourth base straight away in the center position, so not even spreading it out. Now there was a drop going down which I apparently missed. I do apologize for that. It was during the analysis of kind of that middle ground tussle, and this one low marine is going to take out the Overlord. And we have got another drop coming down at the third base for EGIdRA as well now. Going to be cleaned up very easily, did hardly any damage. The Greater Spire about to finish as well now for EGIdRA down at his natural base. So I mean, once that comes up, we're going to see Broodlords. Corruptors are on the way in order to deal with that, and we do have just a single marine here preventing any expansions going down. And I think that's all of the drop ships available to SuperNova kind of in a drop position down. So EGIdRA's really dominant now, and these infestors moving in, there's no detection here at all. Mass infested Terran come out, and I mean, that splash damage is going to be huge. The Zerglings are running in, obviously we'll get right in because the tanks have just got nothing far on, and that's all going to go down super quickly. EGIdRA doing amazing use of those furrowed infestors there, and that's really cleaned up absolutely everything. SuperNova is in pretty much a terrible position here. He's just lost the majority of his army very quickly and easily, and EGIdRA took very little losses. If we go to the loss tab, EGIdRA basically made up a lot of space there, and that was a very, very cost-efficient engagement for IEGiDrA, and generally Zergs have bad cost-efficient engagements and rely on just being able to remax quickly in order to overpower their enemy. But if you do get a cost-effective engagement, it is extremely good. So, I mean, SuperNova has still got 3 bases up. He's got no sign of a 4th command center anywhere, I don't believe. He's got no drops around either, and I mean, drops are really what SuperNova needs to be utilising now, because if he lets IEGiDrA get his 200 army of ling Infestor Brewlords up, he's going to have problems dealing with that. Plus 3/3 is on the way. Adrenal Glands hasn't been starting now. Adrenal Glands would obviously be brilliant here, but still just Banelings coming out. A lot of Broodlords are on the way. More Corruptors as well. Now there are quite a few Vikings out, but the Corruptors will be able to deal with them quite quickly. I mean, that was the real problem for SuperNova in Game 2, because he had no Vikings out to deal with Broodlords. And a perfectly timed scan. We'll see exactly what's coming out. Going to move forward with the Vikings to try and pick off a Broodlord. I mean, those Corruptors just moving forward. Are they going to be able to get any Vikings? Not quite. 1, 2, they are going to go down, and that's quite effective. A great fungal growth on the Vikings. None on the Marines, though, as of yet. There we go, another great fungal growth. Fungal growth getting all of those Vikings there. They have clumped up, and won't actually manage to take them all down because it doesn't get a subsequent one. And the tanks are still sieged up. Now, that's slightly dangerous because obviously Broodlings will cause the tanks to siege, attack each other, and do massive splash damage. And IEGiDrA just kind of running this around, dealing with this drop as it's going on. And I mean, this is great multitasking, but SuperNova's in a very, very awkward spot here because there's just this big death ball army of IEGiDrA. He is maxed out. He has got 3/3 half done. Another scan going off, and we'll see quite a lot of stuff, and we'll see that he's moving in again. And just all SuperNova can do now is get those Vikings out, getting a Thor as well in order to try and deal with this army. Plus 3 infantry attack is down, about halfway done, so he's going to have to pull something out here. And moving those Broodlords forward without any support is a very, very risky. Some will get taken out by those Vikings. But here we go, IEGiDrA just going straight in now, all of the Zerglings, all of those Infestors, all of the Broodlords, and just literally walking over SuperNova here. Just so much stuff. It didn't even have to be a great position or waiting for those tanks to unsiege, just literally walking in. Marines are pulling back towards the SCVs just to try and hold it. I mean, obviously SuperNova's going to do anything he can because obviously if he loses this, he loses the series. And I mean, there's even a planetary fortress here, but those Broodlords are going to just slowly eat away at them. The Corruptors are going to take out the medevacs. There has been a drop down here for SuperNova, has taken out the 4th base of IEGiDrA, and is now just going to go straight up towards the main base, but there is a Spore Caller there which will deal a lot of damage to that medevac, and I mean, that's going to go down. Now that is down, I mean, I don't really see anything SuperNova can do. More Broodlords are coming in. A massive fungal growth on pretty much everything there, and there's just so many Broodlords. That 3rd base for SuperNova will go down. He's about 60 food behind, and I mean, there's nothing he can do about this now. He's got just a handful of tanks, a Thor, and a couple of Marines. He's not got enough to deal with his army. The SCVs are trying to mass repair, but I mean, there's just so much stuff here, and these drones even long range mining because this 4th base was taken out, but still there's just so many Broodlords. The SCVs are going to get taken down. There are some Vikings coming down, but just again a fungal growth with the Corruptors there as well means that those Vikings won't last long at all. And SuperNova trying to skirt his units around. He's got the tanks sieged up. He's got good siege tank positioning, great spread. But this planetary fortress is just going to go down, and there's nothing SuperNova can do about it. There's just so many Broodlords. Some more even morphing in as well now. And again, I'm not quite sure why he pulled those Broodlords back. He had no need to, essentially. Actually, a really nice and neat little trick. If SuperNova isn't actually watching, then it means because it did heal up to full, the SCVs have stopped repairing it. So if IEGiDrA does go for this right now, he will be able to deal a lot of damage. The Marines are trying to move forward. A fungal growth catches 4, a couple more there. A lot of SCVs are going to go down as well. Huge fungal growths off on those SCVs, going to do massive damage, and I don't see how SuperNova can get back from this. This Broodlord Infestor Corruptor army is massive. There's a lot of Zerglings in the back as well. Massive fungal growths going off on pretty much all of SuperNova's army there. The Zerglings are running in there, some Banelings in there as well. And I mean, this is pretty much GG. That is all going to get cleaned up so easily. The tanks can't siege because of the Broodlords, and there's just so much stuff there. oGsSuperNova having an amazing game though, and does lose his 3rd base, and that is pretty much it. There is the GG. So that means IEGiDrA does take this series 2-1. and this was a Group D game, and I mean EGIdrA played it very well and came back from losing the first game. Is never a nice position to be in. It does mean that you're effectively playing the other two games that if you lose it, you're out of that series. So well done to EGIdrA, well done to SuperNova as well for hanging on right until the very end. Thank you very much for watching. That was 3 games from the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. If you enjoyed it, please follow me on Twitter. I keep that updated with all of my casts, and basically I'd love to hear from people who watch, their opinions, improvements, etc. So follow me on that. It is at SC2_England. Also, if you enjoy my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and check out any casts I do in the future, and I look forward to doing some. So thanks for watching and checking again.